People who do YouTube for money are trash. You put content on YouTube to let people see it. You want money, get a job. Get out. Like, seriously. That is the most douchey thing you can say while watching somebody who does this for a living. Like, if that's your opinion, why are you here? Because I'm not free entertainment. I am sort of free entertainment, but if I treated this like full free entertainment, I would leave. I would stop. I'd do other things. Because, this actually is my job. This is what I do to make money. And I don't know, it's impossible to make anybody that says that understand either. They're too staunchly of the opinion that all YouTubers are just leeches. I guess the easy example would be, like, what about an actor that, like, you know, does a movie? What about the guy that plays Captain America? He makes entertainment for you, so he should also either do it for free and go get a real job? I don't know. I probably react maybe too angrily to this sort of thing, but it is, like, actually frustrating to see people. Yeah, we might actually have Christmas lighting going on with this. That's cool. But, like, most YouTubers I know work way harder than practically anybody else I know. I used to work a shitty day job, and I worked 9 to 5, making crappy games for Nickelodeon, so kids could play shitty knockoff versions of, like, what was it? Well, but, like, knockoff versions of other indie games that, like, already existed. Like, we were told to, like, steal ideas from indie developers of popular games. And that just straight up was, like, the business strategy for Nickelodeon at the time, and it was awful. And, like, that was my job. That was my real job at the time, and it was terrible. It's what drove me to do YouTube, because I was like, alright, I'm gonna do this instead and actually enjoy my life. And I do. I enjoy it a lot more. But, like, yeah, I have been doing it a lot longer. That is true. But, like, somebody that tells me that what I do currently is not a real job is wildly out of line. And wildly misinformed. I don't know. There was actually a YouTuber a little while back that, I'm trying to think, what exactly did they do? Right, there was this whole conversation about, like, get a real job, when it was talking about the McDonald's workers, more or less, trying to negotiate for, like, more of a livable wage, and a YouTuber, just a gaming YouTuber, was like, that McDonald's isn't a real job, and it's like, you moron, your job is less real than somebody that works works cooking fast food for McDonald's. You should be thankful that you're in a position where you can actually do it for a living, and, you know, not look down on other people that are less fortunate than you are. And I don't know, kind of like in not a restore faith to humanity situation, but more or less every YouTuber oops. I'm trying to bury this thing. Sometimes you can get it to fall through the world, but I don't think stuff falls through the world anymore. Every YouTuber that I saw on Twitter more or less was responding to this guy being like, you're a dumbass. Including people that this guy specifically looked up to. Like, when, it would be like if Northern Lion responded to me on Twitter and called me an idiot. That would cut pretty, that would cut pretty deep. I would be kind of unhappy about that. Because I don't revere the guy necessarily, but I more or less modeled my channel after him, in the early days, and even, like, kind of now. So he's already left. Good. Seriously. If you watch my content, believe I do not deserve to make a living off of this, then stop. Because, like, I don't know. I had somebody call me a leech, which is kind of part of the reason why I get upset about this. And, like, this stuff sticks with you, too. Oh, shit. Fart clouds are coming with me. See, would I take Northern Lion calling me an idiot on the chin, though? It really depends on what he'd call me an idiot for. If he called me an idiot because, like, I had done something really stupid, sure. I could probably take that on the chin and be like, yeah, you're right, I am wrong. I shouldn't have done that. But if, like, if I legitimately, like, feel vindicated in my opinions and he was still, like, insulting me, it hurt. A lot. Hey, we've got a weird globulous mass. Let's take it back home. Should probably get the big truck and see if I can, well, I don't know if I want to ever drive the big truck down here, but go around and find some more of the science crash satellites and stuff. But yeah, when people say unkind things, like, it's pretty easy to brush it off, but, like, the problem is, how many of you guys, like, are in contact with other people? And, like, for how long? Because it really, you're really required to have, like, super thick skin as a YouTuber. If you can't take somebody being an asshole to you, this job is going to really get to you, like, really fast. And, you know, I'm pretty good at, with dealing with, like, negative comments and whatnot. But the problem is, like, it builds up. Like, there's tons of people out there that say, like, tons of nasty shit, and you're just like, after a while, even if, like, comment A doesn't bother you, comment A times, like, 100 really does bother you. So recently I've been cheating a lot in Slay the Spire because it makes the game more fun for me. And I've been getting a lot of messages, comments, or otherwise from people being like, you've ruined this series now, like, can't even beat the game anymore, so you have to use cheats. And I'm like, no, I use cheats for fun. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, bah! And, like, you can only block so many trolls before, like, you can't block a troll before before reading the comment. It's like the porn bots that, you know, piss Bird and myself off. Nope, that looks like it's just, hydrazine. Let's check this out. Nothing down there. Looks like we might have some more potential research down this way. Okay, let's see if I can take them all down before it becomes fart clouds. Oh, we don't have any more tethers. I should make some more. But yeah, but you know, it's just like every negative comment just kind of like builds up and stuff like that, and you just kind of hold on to it. And so when people tell me this isn't a real job, it's like, well, what is a real job anyway? You know, back in the days of, you know, what, post-depression and stuff like that, real job was like factory work, but as a whole, humanity is starting to move past organized labor as the main, like, profession. And, like, I can totally empathize with somebody that's, like, working a hard labor job, you know, blue-collar shit. Like, yeah, that's way harder and more quote-unquote real work than what I do. But, I work 12 hours a day sometimes on top of, like, getting all my, like, life stuff done. And I'm just like, if that's not real work, then, God, what kind of weird, horrifying universe do you live in? Are you a professional chain ganger? Because that's, like, after a certain point, you have to question what kind of weird standards you're throwing around. Okay, yeah, we're still... Well, maybe I can make that big battery now. How much research do I have? Ah, I'm just shy. But yeah, I don't know. I just get really upset when people say that. It's like when people vehemently defend watching like Adblock Plus on like YouTube videos and Twitch and stuff like that. And like, I totally understand using Adblock. There's a lot of really shitty ads out there that like absolutely do not belong on the internet and are like borderline crimes. But pretty much any ad by Google might be obnoxious, but like, yeah, I understand, like, watching a long ad is a problem, but you stop watching those ads and, like, YouTubers, stop making money. I don't know how many of you guys know about, like, the adpocalypse, but, I mean, I assume a fair number of people have heard the word by this point. But, like, some YouTubers are, like, straight up losing their ability to keep up with this at this point. And it's not generally that big of a deal. If the adpocalypse was enough to take out a channel, chances are the channel was rolling on hard times anyway. But if everybody used Adblock Plus, this entire industry would go kaput. You know, maybe Twitch would exist just because of the subscription system. But YouTube would crumble. There'd be nothing left. Very few YouTubers are able to, like, do what they do, purely based on, like, sponsored ad content. And that's why, like, a lot of bigger YouTubers have started doing more ads and less actual gaming content. Like, I used to watch Funhouse a lot. I like Funhouse still. But following the adpocalypse, they were doing a lot more sponsored video content, which I found generally less genuine, and I was like, that sucks, because I enjoyed watching them. I still do, but it was definitely kind of the turnoff point. I totally understand why they would do it. That's worth a bunch of bytes, and we should have enough research now. Yeah, yes. There should be like a large battery at some point. I will admit that's part of the reason why I've been focusing more on Twitch as of late. It's because even in like an adpocalypse situation, stuff like a consistent sub-based income. Thanks, Shell. Go away. Shell's telling me to stop saying and I'm like, I have a migraine. My ability to like word here is going to be extremely limited. Let's see. So we want lithium. Oh, backpack's full of power. See if we can just cram it onto the research terminals. I have like 0 use for power nodes. But yeah, a subscription-based system is more voluntary, which does kind of suck because it means you don't get, it's kind of slow to build up. Oh, we want it over here. Medium battery, there we are. But, it's stable. I don't know. That's the main point. And sponsored video content is totally stable too. I just don't like doing it generally. Because whenever I'm like asked to do sponsored video content, I usually just say no because it's a bad game. Like mobile stuff. I don't know. There is absolutely a market for mobile games, but like I don't play them. I don't remember the last time I played no, I do remember the last time I played a game on my phone. It was freaking Monument Valley on release. Let's see, so we want more lithium. I've got 1 lithium. I probably need more than that. Why are you functionally incapable of putting things here? I have no idea. Okay. Well, we should probably keep doing runs to get more research points from things. Yeah, I loved Monument Valley too. I thought it was fantastic. I'm still holding out some amount of hope that someday they'll release a PC version. I know I could get, is it Blue Cell or something? There's oh no, BlueStack. There is an app that lets you, program? That lets you play Android games, on your PC. But I'm kind of hoping for a native release someday of Monument Valley, just so I can throw more money their way and, you know, cover it properly. Because that game was a masterpiece. And there are not a whole lot of mobile games that I consider masterpieces. I find that market is, I'm not going to say creatively bankrupt, but cursed. I've never understood how and why these things can just home in on you. And I don't see... I killed them right here, but I don't see any research bits, which is unfortunate. Ah, there's one. Maybe I should actually excavate a ramp and bring... No, there's too many, like, things to get stuck on. Oh, that's okay. So it's a phone emulator. Yeah, more or less. I like the idea of that, but at the same time, I just prefer native releases of mobile games. It's just awkward otherwise. Yeah, I don't know. In-app purchases have kind of been slowly eating up the games industry, and I'm kind of glad that we're starting to see a backlash on it. I don't know how many of you guys have really followed the whole Battlefront thing, but I am really glad that people seem to be kind of hitting their limits on what's okay in like in a PC game for in-app purchases. And for me, it's nice, because I used to love the Battlefront series. I used to love the Battlefield series. I love to play those games, and like now I won't touch them anymore because it's not worth it for me. It's bankrupt. It's just money. Let's see. So in-app purchases are not okay, but ads are. It really depends. In-app purchases are totally okay if the game itself is free. Take Warframe, for example. It's pure in-app purchases, but you don't have to pay a dime to get the game. Now, obviously, like, there are arguments to be had about games trying to over-incentivize. Over-incentivize in-app purchases and stuff by, like, wrecking it. Like, if Xenoblade Chronicles 2, if those stupid blade cores had actually been, like, in-app purchases that you paid money for, I think I would have been really pissed off, because the drop rate on them was just so abysmally low. It's like, freaking, what's the point of this? I might as well just tough it out with the most generic shit ever and just deal. And that's generally why I don't play, like, Fire Emblem Heroes, even though I think Fire Emblem Heroes was okay. It's still kind of pushing the limits of what I'd tolerate. But, like, take Battlefront, for example. You pay $60 for that game, and then they want you to pay more so you can unlock Darth Vader faster. It's like, I bring it up because it's the most basic thing ever, but, like, how would you like to play this game, for example, pay $20 to get the game, and then be like, so research is going to take the next 2 hours, but you can pay us an additional $20 so all research is done already for you, and your drill digs faster, and you also get a car, but it's like half as good as another car that you could pay like an extra bunch of money for. Like, after a while, is that a game or just a storefront with like maybe a little bit of with a storefront with a little bit of enjoyability attached to it? I don't like ads, honestly. I just feel like they and sometimes in-app purchases are a necessary evil, so that the developer can actually produce the game. It's just when the game loses out on being a game because of the ads, because of the ads, because of the in-app purchases, because of the whatever. That's when it becomes a problem. Guild Wars is a single purchase. Guild Wars has been getting worse, though. I was really excited for Guild Wars 2, but I lost a lot of momentum when I found out that all of their like bounce skins were entirely locked behind the cash shop and behind gambling boxes too. Like the gambling boxes, I think, are kind of the worst part. It's like you have to roll the dice and see if you can get what you want, but they're rare. It's just like, at least like you don't get totally. Whoa, hi. You don't get totally screwed over because it's one of those where once you've gotten something, you can't get it again. Like that helps, but so many other games do it so much worse, and it's just like, Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with Warframe's microtransactions, but EA's I'm 200% against. The main difference is, so for any of you guys who've ever seen Warframe every couple of months releases a new Prime Frame, which is kind of like the end game equipment. You know, absolutely the best possible available thing, so on and so forth. Pretty simple. And the thing I actually like about it is it's expensive. But that's how they pay their bills, whatever. But you can then just play the game for a couple hours and get the whole thing anyway. At zero cost, and that I'm okay with, because it is really only a couple hours, especially once people have gotten like the grind down and the keys. It's just like, oh yeah, you want to go get Mirage Prime? Well, that's not going to take very long. See, Guild Wars gems can be traded for gold. Yeah, I just remember somebody pointing out it was going to cost like an insane amount of gems just to get like maybe the skin you wanted. Just either let me buy it specifically or make it easier to grind. Or have both. I don't know. I guess at this point, even if it's a good system, if it's a game that I had to pay to get in the first place, the idea of what is that thing? Oh, more research. The idea of a cash shop in a game that I paid money for to begin with is rough. Obsidian said they won't have microtransactions in their future games. What do I think of that? A lot of developers have actually come out and said that, and for the most part I'm okay with it. I'm also kind of okay with like a little bit here and there. What's a good example of a game where I didn't mind the DLC so much? I mean, I'm not sure if it counts, but Tales of Zestiria came out and they had like really goofy looking costumes, like an inflatable shark you could put on one of the characters' backs. And I was like, in the olden days you just get this wrapped in, but if you gotta do that, then you gotta do that, and I don't mind it so much. That said, if developers can actually, you know, go toe-to-toe, make great games and not have in-app purchases or excessive DLC or price gougey expansions or any number of things. DLC doesn't count as microtransactions. It does and it doesn't. It really depends on how the game functions. If it's like 2 costume DLC packs, then I'd say it's DLC. If it's like 50 different costumes and each one costs $1, that's absolutely a microtransaction. And it's just kind of the way it's presented that really defines it. Let's see. I probably could stop going for all of the research at this point. I'm not entirely sure what I should do. I guess go back to leveling the mountain. We got all of the stuff that I needed. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the main line that I draw is generally I just don't like the loot box system. I think that's what kind of was my that's the line in the sand that got crossed. And anytime I see like a loot box in any game, if you can buy it with real money, I'm just like, Guild Wars. Evan, sorry. Hell, even what was it? Battle Chasers, which was a single player, more or less kind of like love letter to JRPGs, had weird loot boxes in it, and I hated it. It was dumb. I ended up breaking the game 7 Ways to Tuesday just so I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore, which actually worked out quite well for me. But I was just so done with it by that point. I was just like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to break the game, bypass the whole loot box system, and then get back to playing the game that I want to play. Which actually did make fairly distinct difference in my series, but like a lot of people were not so lucky and had to play that game through entirely with the associated grind. So let's get some more batteries. It looks like my big battery works, but it empties pretty quickly overnight. I don't know. I don't like random chance in video games. I either have amazing luck or I have awful luck. And I don't want to deal with it. See, what do I think about Borderlands style loot boxes? I haven't played enough of the Borderlands games. I played the pre-sequel, but I barely even remember it. I think part of it is, like, loot boxes should be an addition, nothing more. Like, a loot box should be on top of what you already have. And if you require the loot box for how you get your gear, or your upgrade, or your blades and Xenoblade, or any number of things, that's when it starts to become a problem. So I don't think I've played enough Borderlands to say. From what I remember, it was pretty easy to get everything. You didn't really need to go out of your way to... You didn't really need to go out of your way to get a loot box to get, like, the good guns. But, again, I haven't played enough of it to remember. I think part of it is also, I quickly realized with the Borderlands games, you can get a character editor and just tick up a number for your gun. So if you find a good gun at level 5, if you want to, that gun can carry with you the entire game. So I never really cared about the loot box system, because all I did was I just looked around, found a cool gun that I really liked, and then just kept scaling it up. Oh, they don't have loot boxes, they have randomized loot. I think they had loot boxes, though, that you could buy with the, like, Iridian artifacts or whatever they're called. Cosmetic-only loot boxes are terrible. I actually hate cosmetic-only loot boxes more in certain cases, because with me, I'm not very interested in every item in a cosmetic loot box. Like, okay, here's an example. You're playing a mecha game, and half the mecha are female, half of the mecha are male, and you get a loot box, and you open it up, and you get the sexy mecha maid outfit. And you're like, I'm a dude, I really don't want the sexy mecha maid outfit, and they're like, well, tough. You can sell it back, but for like kind of a rare resource that doesn't really get you much. Like, when I was playing Overwatch, most of my loot boxes were weirdly risque outfits from the various female cast, and I was just like, I don't really play as any of them. Like, I'm a Reinhardt Bastion guy, and I ended up having to buy my Reinhardt and Bastion skins because I didn't want any of them. And like, if there was just like a dudes only box or like a Reinhardt loot box that was maybe a little bit more expensive, I'd be fine with that. But it was just buy the loot box, good luck, and it sucked. Because for me, I don't like randomization when it comes to cosmetics. Just let me buy the skin. Hell, I'll even pay a little bit more, if it means getting the skin that I want as opposed to, you know, something that I absolutely don't want. Because, yeah, I don't want the Mecha Maid costume. I don't want the weird kind of sketchy outfit for X character that I never play as. Whereas, like, games where you have, like, loot box equipment, it's just like, oh, a random other gun. Cool. Let's see, so you're a Reinhardt Bastion generic protagonist number 76 main? Yes. 100%, which is why I stopped playing, honestly. I'm not a big fan of Overwatch. Competitive shooters in general just didn't interest me. Like, I liked Battlefield and Battlefront to some degree, because you could, like, hop into a vehicle and do all sorts of other things. Overwatch was very much like, people get angry in those games. Like, I was trying to play with my friends, and it wasn't fun after a while, because everybody got too into it. We recently beat Divinity Original Sin, and Keith was very into the idea of winning. And after we stopped, he actually had to go lie down, because he was, like, really upset about it. Nothing against him as a result of this. That's a weird seam that we're getting here. This mountain must be made of, like, weird quadrants, and I'm finding the seam because I'm digging down too far.